This is Kamera Points in the Bible. Day number 109, 1 Kings chapter 18 through 20. So many good points. Guys, I'm going to do the best I can and not hold you too long. One of the points that I really do like is how you had Obadiah, who's in position. He had a great position in the palace, even though he worked under non-believers. And he did something that was very daring, and he was putting his life on the line for 100 of God's prophets in a time. And remember, your position that God put you in, it's not just for you. It's just not. I'm sorry, it's just not for you. Ask God how he can use you in your position. Don't get caught up in the position that you put God second. You want to keep God first. And you have to ask God for boldness to do whatever he wants you to do. Obadiah was in a serious position that he could have lost his life, but God blessed him. Another thing is Elijah asked a very good question. He says, how long are you going to waver between two opinions? Either you're going to follow God. If God is your God, follow God. If God is not your God, follow who your God is. Basically, our gods, we can be our own gods where we follow our own desires. That means we're not going to humble ourselves to God and be kind to people. We're not going to give up ourselves to do what God wants us to do. We become our own God. Our men can be our God. Our jobs can be our gods. Our monies can be our gods. And some people actually have statues who are their gods. So choose today who you're going to serve. Is it going to be God or is it going to be your God? So he had a very good question. I love the way God showed off in this lesson. There's so many points here, guys. I'm just saying. It hadn't rained in 3 years. And this is the thing, though. This thing that God had where he stopped it to rain for 3 years, it affected a whole nation. A whole nation. And clearly the people were not following God. They weren't. And because they weren't following God, that's why he allowed that drought to happen, where these people were actually looking for green grass. They were looking for fertile ground. But God stopped because he needed their attention. Choose who you're going to serve. God is one who has control over rain, over sun. He has the power over your life and everything, the air that you breathe. Choose today who you're going to serve. And so after that, God allowed it to rain. Another thing, sometimes we get weary. And Elijah, he got weary. And so he ran for his life because you had Jezebel who wanted to kill him, but he was weary. And so he ran for his life and he wanted to give up. He prayed and said, Lord, just take my life. He felt like he was alone. Guys, we get there. We might feel like we're alone. We might get weary because everyone around us isn't taking God serious. And they're living these lives that's totally disrespecting God. And it can get weary sometimes. And so the Lord asked Elijah, what was he doing? Because he wanted to die. He wasn't eating. God sent angel to feed him. And so, yeah, even the man of God got weary. And so God gave him some instructions and told him what to do. He told him to go and anoint Jehu as the new Israel king. He told him to go and anoint I forgot who it was, over Aaron. And he said, go and Elisha is going to follow your position. So he's going to get your position. So go and anoint him as well. And yeah, it's awesome the way Elisha came though. Elijah went up to Elisha and Elisha, received what Elijah didn't say. As you're supposed to follow him. He went and he ended his business. He was plowing and he was just that serious about God. He stopped what he was doing. He said hi-bye to everybody. He sold what he had, burnt what he had, and had a little feast for everyone. And he left immediately to be about God's business. And so we have to take God serious. Okay, so we have to take God serious. Don't hesitate. We have to ask God for strength and boldness to do a lot of stuff. Because a lot of decisions are not easy to be made. We have to ask ourselves, who do we want to please? Ourselves above God? You know, do we want to please ourselves above God when we have the power to heal, to give us joy, give us peace, keep our families safe, you know? So yeah. And then after that, you'll see where then you had this man who had a well, that was basically that was another story I'm about to go into. No, I take that back. You have Ben Hadad, who yeah, it was Hazael supposed to be over Aram. You had Ben Hadad, who is now over over Aram, and he decided that him along with 32 people, 32 kings, going to besiege Israel. And this man says he's going to take King Ahab's silver, gold, the best of his wives and children. He said, they are mine. And you had Ahab say, okay, I agree, whatever. But then he said, not only am I going to take them, but I'm going to go through your village and take everything that's good and everything of your people, their good stuff as well, your officials. And so that's when he had a problem. So him and his officials, Ahab and his officials got together and said, it's not going to happen, not going to happen. Anyway, the man of God told Ahab that he was going to be victorious and told him what he had to do. And he was victorious. But then the man of God told him that get ready because springtime, Aram is going to come back. And not Aram, but Ben-Hadad over Aram is going to come back. And so because for some reason they felt like God was just a God of the hills. He wasn't God of the plains. And so this is the crazy part. God was with the children of Israel. But Ahab did something he shouldn't have done. He made a treaty, even though they were winning. He made a treaty with Ben-Hadad. And God wasn't pleased with that. And so God told Ahab that you were supposed to kill him and you're supposed to destroy his people. But because you didn't, then you and your people are going to be destroyed in their place. Isn't that something? We have to be careful when God gives us instructions, not to try to make it work for us. Not to make it work for us. Yeah. And so, yeah, that didn't turn out well at all. You have set free a man that I determined should die. Therefore, it is your life for his life, your people for his people. Isn't that something? So King Ahab felt bad and he went his way. Just be careful, guys, that we don't sacrifice God or compromise God to please people. Okay, so guys, there's a lot of points here. I know I didn't give you a full summary of the word, but please read it. There's some good stuff. We just ask God to open our hearts to understand and receive what he wants us to learn from his word. So there you have it, guys. That's day number 109, 1 Kings chapter 18 through chapter 20. You have a God-filled blessed day.